All right, let's dive right in. Something fundamental is shifting in the tech world right now. And I mean big tech is terrified. But not of what you'd think, right? It's not regulation. It's not even their usual competitors. No, something way bigger is going on here.
This quote, it absolutely nails it. They're terrified because the very thing that made them untouchable is just crumbling. We're talking about a story of pure disruption, real panic in the boardrooms, and this frantic scramble to stay relevant. The game is changing faster than ever before. So to really get it, we need to look back at how things used to be.
You know, for the longest time, the big guys, Google, Microsoft, Meta, they seemed totally unshakable, right? But what's happening right now, this isn't just your regular business competition. This feels like the end of an entire era, and it's being driven by these huge forces that, for the first time, they just can't control.
I mean, just think about it. For like 20 years, these companies were building absolute empires. The big just kept getting bigger, the gap between them and everyone else got wider and wider. If you were a startup trying to compete, the game was pretty much over before you even started. Their advantages looked permanent. But that's all changing.
So the big question is, how did they get so unbeatable in the first place? Well, it all comes down to this idea of a moat, like a castle moat, a big defensive barrier. For years, big tech had 4 of these, and they were basically impenetrable. They were the source of all their power. So let's break them down, one by one. Okay, first up, the data moat. This was huge. Google had decades of everything you've ever searched for. Facebook, now Meta, literally mapped out the social graph of humanity. This data wasn't just important, it was their crown jewel. It was completely irreplaceable. You couldn't even dream of competing without it, and you couldn't get it because they had it all locked down.
Next, we have the network effect moat, and this one was a killer. It's this simple but unbreakable loop. Everyone was on Facebook because everyone else was on Facebook. The more people on the platform, the more valuable it is, which just pulls in even more people. It's a powerful lock-in that's almost impossible to break.
Then you've got the compute moat. We're talking about pure, raw physical power. Massive data centers all over the world. We're talking billions upon billions of dollars and years to build this stuff out. For a startup trying to match that kind of global scale, it wasn't even a dream. It was just impossible.
And finally, the fourth moat, talent. All the smartest people, the top AI researchers, the most brilliant engineers, where do they all work? Big tech. And why wouldn't they? That's where the crazy high salaries were, the best resources, the biggest challenges. They basically had a monopoly on the world's brainpower.
So you see, data, network effects, compute, and talent. For 2 decades, those 4 moats looked totally permanent. And then AI happened, and it changed everything. This is the big turning point. The moment when one single force started to just systematically take apart every single one of those moats.
Let's start with that data moat. AI just completely devalues their most precious asset. It turns out you don't actually need decades of private user data when you can train an AI model on, the entire public internet. Suddenly, Google's massive hoard of search data is a lot less special when an AI can just give you the answer directly. That moat, it's drying up, fast. And the network moat? This is kind of wild, but it might actually be working against them now. Think about it. The value of Facebook was seeing what your friends were up to. But what if an AI can give you content and entertainment that's so perfectly personalized to you that it's more interesting than your friends' posts? The social connection becomes less important. The AI becomes the destination.
The compute moat is getting drained too. Now look, training these huge AI models is still crazy expensive, no doubt. But using them, that's a different story. The best models in the world are now available through simple APIs that any startup with a credit card can afford. That massive infrastructure advantage has basically been turned into a utility, like electricity, that anyone can just rent. And what about the talent moat? Yep, that's breaking down too. There's this thing people are calling the Great Resignation in AI, and it's totally real. The top minds are leaving big tech in droves. Why? Because they don't need them anymore. They can build world-class AI models on their own or at a small startup. For the first time, the best talent is flowing out of the castles, not just into them.
Okay, so their internal defenses, their moats are collapsing. But what's really kicking this into overdrive, what's causing the real panic, are 2 huge external threats that have basically come out of nowhere. The open source community and, you guessed it, China.
And listen, this isn't just me talking or some random analyst. This quote right here, it's a bombshell. It's from a leaked internal memo at Google. Think about that. It's someone on the inside of one of the biggest giants on the planet admitting we have no moat. They see the threat, and they know it's coming from open source. Here's the really crucial part about open source. These models are getting better, faster than the closed-door proprietary ones. You've got models from places like Meta and Mistral, and a whole global community is just hammering on them, improving them at a speed that's impossible to match inside a single company. I mean, we're talking about closing a quality gap in months that took years to build. And when you can run a seriously powerful AI on your own laptop for free, well, that threatens the entire business model of selling access to AI.
And then, at the exact same time, you have the threat they barely even want to talk about publicly: China. Look, the Chinese AI labs aren't years behind anymore. For all intents and purposes, they've caught up, and they are not playing the same game. For them, AI isn't just a business, it's a national priority, and it's backed by what is effectively unlimited state funding.
So let's put it all together. Their defenses are crumbling, they've got new, powerful adversaries on the field, so what happens now? What we're seeing is this wild mix of pure panic, massive company-wide pivots, and, this is the exciting part, for everyone else, a truly historic window of opportunity.
I mean, look around. Every single major tech company has declared that AI is the priority. Not a priority, the priority. And that's not just some fluffy press release talk. It means everything else is on the chopping block. Entire products are getting killed off, teams are being totally reshuffled, and there's this insane pressure to just ship AI stuff whether it's ready or not.
And the money, oh my gosh, the money they're throwing at this problem is just staggering. Microsoft putting $10 billion into OpenAI, Amazon and Google pumping a combined $6 billion into Anthropic. This isn't just strategic investing, folks. This is a desperate, checkbook is open attempt to buy their way back to the top.
But here's the thing. Their fear, their panic, it creates incredible opportunity for the rest of us. For the first time in decades, small startups can actually genuinely compete. As all those moats we talked about, the infrastructure, the talent, as they erode, power is being pulled away from the center and back to the edges.
Make no mistake, we are living through a once-in-a-generation shift here. The moats that looked permanent are breaking, the giants that looked unbeatable are scrambling. And the future of technology, the one that for so long felt like it was already written by just a few companies, is suddenly, completely up for grabs.
Now, this whole situation is absolutely terrifying if you're one of those big incumbents. But for everyone else, it's exhilarating. The chance to build something new, to create, to really compete, it hasn't been this wide open in decades. So I'll leave you with this to chew on. Faced with this crazy new reality, do you think big tech is going to adapt in time, or are we about to watch them fall?